please welcome Chief Operating Officer at Cone Health, Mandy Eaton.
By the way, I apologize for the gentle music, but
Nice.
you
Nice.
don't have to sit in the chair
Nice to see you.
unless you want to.
If I sit, will you sit, or are you going to stand?
Whatever you want.
Let's
you prefer
sit.
to sit. Could I have something to drink? Yeah. I'm here. Yeah. Well.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. One, my first question, thank you for having this conversation. I think this is great. Our industry, healthcare, typically lags in its adoption of technology. And there's a lot of good reasons for that. I'm curious, for those of us who are trying to drive faster adoption, what recommendations do you have for us?
Palantir's doing jarringly well in healthcare, and there's a technical component, and there's a lot product market fit, to use jargon, but again, a lot of our DNA, and I'll get to, is like to survive in an unfriendly environment. Like for us in the beginning at Palantir, we had to get users first at clandestine services and then in the military. In the military, these people really know what they're doing. The people, and many are not particularly technical. Mm-hmm. And you can supply the best product in the world as a matter of theory, but if none of them are using it, first of all, it's obviously not valuable. And second of all, the product can't get better because it gets better, and this is before we were doing algorithmic things at scale, really. The product gets better by having more users. More users mean, the cliche is more users mean more data, but what it really means is more insights on top of the data that allow you to understand the parts of the data that are valuable. And now you can do that on steroids. So the most important thing for getting innovation into the hands of the people is getting innovation into the hands of the people and sitting there. I think the people running our hospital division, for example, have done an amazing job of, like, you've got to engage with the frontline people. What is your actual problem? Here, by the way, like a culture of mutual honesty is crucial, because in all large organizations, there's always, at every level, there's alignment, but there's also misalignments. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe what the special operator wants to tell you is, my biggest impediment to my work is the bonehead officer, right? But, like, how do I build a product where I can do the work and then it feeds up to them, but where they're not in the way of the work? You have all these issues, like, hey, my real problem is not what I'm being told by the corporate people, and I'm going to block adoption unless you solve the problem I care about. But if you identify that problem, you can also go to the people in charge and say, okay, we will get them to adopt this product. We need to build feature sets that get them to use it. And then, because they're using the product, you can also guide the people. And when I say guide, I mostly don't mean control. Like, what the more successful products do is they provide a range. So we did this early on with financial decisions. Like if you're working in a healthcare context, what will get broad adoption is, if you, like, my dad's a doctor. If I tell my dad, hey, Dad, I know how to build a business, he'd be like, well, I read a book, and I'll tell you how to do it, or something, right? So doctors are doctors. And but if you provide a range of, like, okay, well, this is where we think the decision should go, and you get to iterate, you're empowering the end user. And that range guidance also gives the people who are managing the P&L of the business a lot of ability to control the kind of costs and risks that they're managing. And so and there's architectural ways in which our product is built for that, again, because that's how we learn to survive, and also because we don't believe we can survive if you're not using our product. But you have to empower the people on the front end in a way where they want to use it, in a way where they still get to make decisions, because there's just some things they're never, like, a doctor looks at a patient and has a feeling, is this patient healthy or not? And if you're going to tell the doctor that they can't have that, they're not going to use their product. Same thing for nurses. And so, but you can say, okay, we have capacity issues, and if you make these kind of selections, you will no longer have the capacity issues. And by the way, the frustrating part of you having to tell people no all day, and that's how you get adoption. And then you build on top of that, and you get a very strong product.
That's great. So people are really at the heart of this, and I think that leads me to my second question is, when we think about AI and similar technology, should we be thinking about that as job replacers, job changers, or just efficiency drivers? You know, should AI and other solutions like this be helping us to keep pace with how fast our information uptake has become, or can we do less or simplify things?
I don't think there's one unified answer to this. I think in the healthcare industry, you're very constrained by the number of people you could hire anyway. The primary focus will be making people who are already doing a good to very good job much more efficient. So increasing the productivity of the workers, and then there are lots of reasons why. So it's like you probably you will get a lot more value out of the individual workforce you have, and that there'll be less replacement than people think. But that's also because the delta between what you're being asked to do and what you can do is so large. So you're dealing with thin margins, heavy regulatory environment, and increased demand. So even if as we increase your efficiency, it's still going to be a long time before that's truly efficient. I think in broader society, what you will find is people who are at the nexus of either high training in regulatory contexts, it will augment. I do think if you're not trained, you will have to be retrained, because the current use of the LLM that's most efficacious is augmenting. It's still augmenting more than people want to acknowledge. It's especially if there's any actual output that matters. So it's like moving from poetry to decision requires you're augmenting the ability of a trained, thoughtful individual more than you are replacing them in the near term. But again, I think this is where you'll see otherwise constrained environments in the U.S. commercial outperforming other Western societies, because they have the same issues, but they're rejecting the implementation of these technologies either directly or indirectly by making it, most of the great providers are in the U.S., and that's hard for some places to accept.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you.